Today we're going to be getting into a video where I'm answering somebody's question who left a comment on one of the YouTube videos. So I basically made a post saying, hey, I'm going to be away for the weekend. What are some video topics you want me to talk about? And this was a topic that I feel is a very good topic for the video. So let's go ahead and talk about what the question is. I'll go ahead and read it out loud, and I'll have my answer. Now, just before I begin, I want to say that this video series talking about influencers is going to be a multiple day part series where I talk to the camera about how to actually set this up. So if you read the title, you probably have some background information on what we're going to be talking about. But let me go ahead and read the question to be very, very clear. So it says, hey Mark, I would like to see how to leverage IG influencers and IG bots together to promote my products to generate leads. If you can show us how to find good, not too expensive influencers, that would be awesome. I also want to try Shoutcart, but don't know how to choose influencers. So very good question. And I'm going to go ahead and follow up this question with, I'm going to basically say that I'm going to create a multiple part series to this IG influencer ambassadorship kind of talk. And I'm going to be going down the line explaining the different kinds of ambassadorships, influencerships, things like that, where you essentially bring people on to promote your business. And I want to go ahead and discuss it. And I want to talk about my ideologies and my personal experiences. Now, let's go ahead and start. So, a lot of people, what they think they want is they want to grow their business, right? So what do? They hire out an influencer. Now, there are different ways to go about this, but I'll talk about my ways that I personally do it, and I'll explain when I do it. I don't do it often, but when I do it and how I go about doing it. So, let's be very, very clear. Influencer marketing is not my very first source of income. It's really probably somewhere in the middle. So I rely on self-driven traffic. So mostly it's blogging and SEO. That's really number one. So if I'm going to hire a writer to create a blog or an article for me, that's going to do the marketing later down the road, right? And it takes about 8 to 9, maybe even 10 months or 6 months, right? Anywhere from that long period of time for an article to fully rank and get seen by many people, okay? Or at least reach its kind of peak. When I say reach its peak, just for that article, not for the whole entire blog, okay? So for me, influencer marketing has never been a prime approach. However, I'm entering a space now with my new business that influencer marketing is going to be huge. And I really took the time to learn a lot of the things in it, using my past experiences and doing research on other companies to come up with the information that I know, which I'm going to share with you now. So let's go ahead and talk about it. When you hire an influencer, there's going to be different things that you want to be aware of. Now, in general, when you're hiring, let's just call these influencers, let's call them promoters, because there's different levels of promoters. You have a basic influencer, you have a ambassador, you have a sponsor, and you have a partner. So you have all different kinds. And I'll just say this one more time. You have an ambassador, you have a partner, you have a sponsor, and you have, let's say, a influencer or an affiliate, right? So there's actually different kinds of categories. And people do categorize them differently, and they do define them differently. However, I'm going to go ahead and explain the differences now. So let's go ahead and start at the top, which is really the most valuable, which is the partnership. The partnership is essentially where you're finding a quote-unquote influencer who has some kind of value, and you're making them a full-on partner. They get to make decisions in the business. They get to have equity in the business. They have some kind of ownership, right? And they get more money than a typical influencer would, right? They have more ownership into that business, all right? So I usually don't do partnerships. I do sometimes, but not often, right? And I'm not against doing them, right? There's certain places and times where you should do them. In general, you should really get a partner when this partner has some kind of ability or has access to something that you personally don't have access to, right? That's just the general rule. So for example, if you were to be my partner, I'm good at blogging or SEO, and I have the people that I can hire and things like that. And let's say you're really, really good at graphic design, and you're really good at, maybe you have a huge Instagram account, maybe you have, all these different things. We can partner together and we can have a partnership, right? That's the first kind of real influencer that you're going to work with. That's one of the options. Let's go ahead and move down the ladder a little bit, where you have something called a sponsorship. So what is a sponsorship? A sponsorship is actually really, really simple. A sponsorship is where you're paying this individual to be part of your group higher than normal. So you're going out of your pocket to pay this person. Now, there's really no guarantee that they're going to make you more money than what you're paying them, right? But I'm telling you that this kind of influencership sells. I experienced this from personal experience, and I've seen this other businesses do this. I'll give you guys a good example. Since I'm entering the supplement market and the nutrition market, a good example of this is back in the year, let's say 2004, 2005, 2006, and so on, when the Olympia competitorship was going on, right? And still is going on now till today. You know, this is nothing new, but this is the biggest bodybuilding show, arguably, of all time, right? What would happen is when a bodybuilder would win the competition, become Mr. Olympia, they get a 1-year contract of a certain supplement company, right? They would get a certain contract. This contract is a paid contract, right, with the company where they get the free products, and they also get a salary. Now, this salary tends to be about 6 figures, so anywhere from 100,000 to roughly 120,000, right? Sometimes even 150, depending on who the athlete was, right? Sometimes even more, but usually it wasn't more than that, but it was about that much for the supplement company alone, right? And this supplement company would essentially pay this money as a sponsorship type of money. Now, as a sponsorship, in some cases, as a business, you'll be required, not required, but it's all in the written contract and the written agreement that you have, but it's as a general rule that a sponsorship pays more than just your some sort of money. So, for example, in the bodybuilding world, in the supplement world, if you have a show to go to, right? If you're a competitor and you're doing bodybuilding and you're competing, at times your sponsor will offer to pay for your actual show. And there are certain, when I say pay for the show, they pay for the entrance fee, they pay for the flight, they pay for your hotel, they pay for your food, they pay for all these different things. Now, it's not always the case. In fact, it's actually changed drastically throughout the years with these many new different supplement companies arising, right? You have Shreds, you have all these different big companies, and it's actually been changing. Now, prestige doesn't mean you're going to get a better influencer or you're going to get a better promoter. So when I say prestige, what do I mean? I'll give you guys in the example of the fitness world, for example. Let's use the example of I don't know. Let's use a big time bodybuilder like, let's say, Jay Cutler, okay? Jay Cutler is a multiple time Mr. Olympia. I don't know how many titles he has, but he has multiple titles. Arguably one of the best bodybuilders of all time. Maybe even Ronnie Coleman. The list goes on and on. Just because you hire them as your sponsor does not mean that you're going to make more money off of them than from somebody else. Does that make sense? So in certain industries, there is prestige, right? But then there is money. So there's two different things. What I tend to see is that the influencer who engages with their audience the very most is the best type of influencer you want to go with. Now, immediately that rules out a huge percentage of people, because there are many different theme pages out there. There are many different, I guess you could say theme pages, really, meme pages, niche pages, where there's really no personality behind it, right? There's really no engagement either, but there's just these photos that go up, which there's nothing wrong with. That can generate a lot of money, but it won't generate, in my opinion, as much as a personal identity type of account, right? So, for example, Jay Cutler would generate much, much more money than an account on Jay Cutler. Does that make sense? Now, that seems logical, but people don't essentially experience that or do that with their personal experience. So, for example, instead of hiring Jay Cutler, you might not have enough money, but let's just say if you did, instead of hiring the Jay Cutler, you'd go out and hire theme pages. Now, ironically enough, right, back then, theme pages, when I say back then, I mean like maybe in 2016, maybe 2015, theme pages were extremely, extremely, extremely cheap to hire. Extremely cheap. And they would do a better conversion, analysis in terms of sales than any other account would be. And you could hire multiple of them versus one main influencer account. Does that make sense? Right? And because nobody really respected these kind of accounts, and I had personal experience with them. Now I've started to see the results from them die off a little bit, right? And I think the reason why that is because if you look at their track record, right, if you just go on their Instagram account and scroll through, you're going to see let's say every third post is a promo type post to buy something or something like that. And I think people are doing influencer marketing wrong in general. So that's going to really shoot you in the foot, okay? So the next type of influencer you have, okay, is you have a partnership, sponsorship, then you have a ambassadorship. So this is one level over the affiliate. The affiliate is the very lowest. You have an ambassadorship. So what is an ambassadorship? An ambassadorship is somebody who's going to represent the brand. Now, it's optional that they could essentially give you some sort of salary, right? But it's really no guarantee. And an ambassadorship is just some sort of representation with the company. So you might be involved in some kind of photo shoots. And this is just fitness. I'm just using fitness as an example. It doesn't have to be the fitness world, but you might be involved in some kind of photo shoot. You might be involved in some kind of, other type of, essentially experience with the company. But usually you have an affiliate link and then you get a bonus on top of what you sell. Does that make sense? So this is one step lower typically than a sponsor. Now, a lot of people get the sponsor and the ambassador confused. Okay, the sponsor, to make it very, very clear, there's a guarantee that you're getting a salary, right? You're getting sponsored and you're also getting all the perks. The ambassadorship, there's really no guarantee of getting a salary, and you're definitely not getting any of the perks, right? But there's an option, like there's a chance that you might get a small salary, definitely not as high as a sponsorship salary. You might get some small money here and there, like a base type of number with a commission, plus some little, options of like promoting yourself and the company promoting you and things like that through photo shoots, through Instagram reposts, things like that, okay? Then you have the very, very lowest type of influencer or marketing or something like that, which is an affiliate. Now, the thing about being an affiliate is it's really not a bad start, and it's actually, I've been an affiliate for many companies, right? In my personal works, and I've hired many affiliates, right? Which technically is not really considered the word hire. It's almost like a partnership. But when you have an affiliate, there is this unspoken agreement that it's very well known between the ambassador and the affiliate that the affiliate has to work as hard as they can to earn as much as they can. Right? It's just kind of well known, right? And so the majority of people in the business world who are starting, right, when they look for Instagram influencers, they're really looking for affiliates, okay? Now, this makes a huge difference later down the road, and explain why this is because when individuals like me and you who are business owners and they look to get these affiliates, they message people in the DMs and they say something like, or they go to these apps like you mentioned, Shoutcart and things like that, where they say to people, they say, hey, you want to promote my business for like some free product or whatever, or you'll get an affiliate split, right? There's really low amounts of respect on there. And something that I've seen is that when you respect this individual highly, the person you want to work with, right, there's a bigger chance that you can succeed. Now, people don't talk about this one aspect a lot, but I've seen that when you essentially court this individual that you want to work with, you have a much higher chance of working with them, right? At the end of the day, these are people who own businesses of their own, right? They want to become affiliates for companies that they know, like, and trust. And part of that like factor comes with you and your communicating factor with them. So you have to be a good communicator to be able to show them the message of what you want to essentially spread, what you want to show them, right? How you're going to make this money, things like that. Now, let's talk about the very basic affiliate level status and what you need to do to get an affiliate that really wants to work with you, okay? Now, in tomorrow's video, I'm going to be talking about different levels of partnership, or a different level of partnership, different than the one we're talking about today, right? And I'm also going to be talking about where you can find these affiliates. But for now, let's talk about after you found the affiliate, different things that you can, communicate to the affiliate and things like that. So, like I said, tomorrow we'll be talking about where to find these affiliates. You mentioned Shoutcart and things like that. I actually have a different way But I also want to talk about Instagram bots right now. So you have an Instagram bot that's essentially working for you. In your head, your Instagram bot should really think of it as an affiliate account. And when I say affiliate, it should be an affiliate for your website. Does that make sense? So let me go ahead and explain what I mean by that. So you should track all sales with your affiliate account the exact same way you track sales for a regular affiliate. So what do I mean? On your Instagram account, that is the main Instagram account, even if it's secondary Instagram accounts, but the main Instagram account, you should have an affiliate link created by you for the actual company essentially in your name, but it should be tracking what that specific Instagram account can do. Now, why does that matter? A lot of people don't do this actually. If you look at, for example, if you go down the line different Instagram accounts and search the main account and you look in the bio is not an affiliate link. It is a regular link, right? You should take and go with an affiliate link and explain the reason why, especially on Instagram. You want to track specifically what that link is doing, what that link in your bio is doing. And you want to create different links for different purposes. So for example, right, if you have Facebook ads running, you want to have a different link for Facebook ads. And then for your Instagram page, your organic Instagram page, you want to have a different link for your organic Instagram page. Now, this is a little bit an advanced tactic that a lot of people and a lot of big companies, frankly, do not use. The reason why I do this in some of my businesses, not all, but in some of my businesses, the reason why I do this is because I want to track my success with this one Instagram account. And the way I look at it is, let's just say for that month, that one Instagram account generated me 10 sales. Let's just say it's 10 sales, an average product. The numbers are irrelevant, but let's just say it's 10 sales. Well, now when I go out and work with an affiliate or a partner or things like that, I have a gauge as to what I can expect that individual to do. If they outperform, right, my expectation, then I would definitely want to work with them, and I figure out ways to work with them, right? Now, with that being said, if you have an affiliate that you're trying to find that you're really not sure how successful they'll be, you have to be able to know that you can take a gamble on this individual so that if they generate 0 sales, it's perfectly fine. It's happened to me. I've been there. I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say, listen, I am the person who has hired to be honest, improper affiliates, ambassadors for my companies that probably wouldn't have done a good job if I had had them long term. It's a good thing I cut them off early. Now, with that being said, right, let's talk about how this works with an Instagram bot, okay? You're going to be using, like I said, this Instagram bot, any Instagram bot, followbots.com, igbots.org, any of the cloud-based bots, right? Viral Igniter, Granulizer, whatever you're using, right? Jarvie, I mean, the list goes on and on. Whatever you're specifically using, you're going to be using each individual account as an affiliate account. Does that make sense? You want to know which accounts are performing the best and why they're performing the best. What this information is going to give you is it's going to give you, like I said, a barometer, an understanding as to what you expect in the future. So, for example, I'll give you an example. There was a time where I was selling these digital workout programs, right? I had a trainer that I partnered with from my local gym, and I said, listen, you write out the workout programs, you send them to me, we'll change up the way they look, we'll make them look fancy, we'll make them look good, we'll do the graphic design, and we'll create the website and everything, and we're going to do a 70-30 split. So all you have to do is write the workout programs once, we'll have your profile on the website, people will know who you are, so if they have any questions, they can message you, right, for the expert fitness advice, and we're going to sell these online, right? And he agreed, and we did it. And what we did was we actually started off with 5 Instagram bot accounts. So we had 5 Instagram accounts. This was a cloud-based bot, and this was back in the day when the average Joe Schmo could use a cloud-based bot and get, let's say, 5 to 10 sales a day per account. Okay. So we started using it, and the sales were rolling in beautifully, right? We ended up selling that website, but the point is what I'm saying here is that with this business, okay, every Instagram account, we had a different marketing method, okay? Some accounts would get like 2 to 3 sales a day, and then others would get like 8, 7, 9 sales a day, Okay, only on a special day would we get like 10. I remember 10 was the absolute max for that specific business, but we were doing great, right? So these were digital workout programs, right? And what would happen is like I said, we tracked every single one of these different Instagram accounts and their success level, okay? And we knew that certain accounts were more successful than others. At the end of the day, we were able to essentially think of what made each one successful. We saw a clear difference with the type of product that we're selling. This is something that I want to stress, is just because an influencer has a great following, right, does not necessarily mean that they're going to be more successful with your specific business, okay? So for example, I have, let's say, influencer A, okay? And this is why Instagram bots taught me this, is that, let's say I have influencer A, okay? Influencer A has 50,000 followers. 50,000 followers. And I have influencer B that has, let's say, 7,000 followers. Influencer A is very well known, let's say, gets a ton of engagement on every photo, likes, comments. Let's just use the fitness world as an example. You know, they post a picture of themselves shirtless or something like that, and everybody's commenting, oh my God, you're amazing, this and this and that, right? And let's say influencer B, it's not they're not on the same fitness level. Let's say he's lower in fitness level, right? Maybe not as jacked or whatever the case may be, but explains everything and engages and, with people every single day and talks back and forth and really all these kind of things. I would rather work with influencer B than influencer A, okay? And the reason why is because influencer B is going to engage with people back and forth, has a trusted relationship, right, with the viewers, and is going to essentially generate more money. If you're the type of person who is influencer A, you want to make sure not only do you engage, but you actually explain why you're doing things. Explanation is what creates trust. You see what I'm saying? The reason why I say that is because I have seen many, many times when we work with influencers who are essentially, they have large reach, and a lot of people comment on their photos and things like that, but there's really lack of results when I use their accounts, and it would boggle my mind as to why that is, and it's because the very brand was built off an image, right? The very brand was built off an image, and basically what that means is people like that image, they like to see what they're looking at, but they don't come to that individual for a source of knowledge, okay? And I believe in 2021, knowledge is the key to selling. You have to explain why something is better than something else. So for example, if I'm selling supplements, right, I have to explain why my supplement is better than somebody else's supplement, or it's better in general, what makes it special and things like that, which ironically enough makes it harder to sell in 2021 because there's so much more competition, right? And there's people who, and I'll be honest, have more money and resources than you do, and they're able to generate the best product. Look at Tesla as an example. Tesla now, there's a lot of science, a lot of explanation behind their actual products through Elon Musk, right? People look at that person and revere them and trust that individual, Elon Musk, right? And so that's why, and I believe Tesla has exploded, right, past other companies. Tesla is one of the only, I think Tesla and Ford maybe, or other company, I can't remember, are the two only companies in history to never go bankrupt, which is mind-blowing. All the other companies, essentially too big to fail, have been saved by the conglomerate. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of things to say on that, but the point here is, to bring it back to influencers and bots, is that the special thing about Instagram bots is they taught me, right, how to be able to decipher between what's a good account and what's a bad account through my personal actions. People don't know this, but when I had my first clothing company, right, that I eventually sold, we used to have, I don't want to say hundreds, but we had a lot of Instagram accounts, right? Definitely over 100. I don't know if we had hundreds at one point in time. I know we had hundreds total, and they were promoting every single day the clothing, and we were getting a ton of sales. I ended up selling that account on a high note. But with that being said, right, I learned what makes a good account and what makes a bad account for my specific niche and my specific product, right? You can have an influencer, like I said, with a higher following, might not necessarily be a good influencer for your specific product. Does that make sense? And like I said, the market has changed. It's much harder to sell clothing now than it was 5 years ago, maybe even 6 years ago, right? Much, much harder now because everybody and their dog has a clothing company. But you guys get what I'm trying to say. Anyways, now that's what Instagram bots have taught me. And you can use Instagram bots if you can't afford an affiliate to start off with. So you grab, for example, followandfollowbots.com. I think it's 67 pounds sterling or euro or whatever that symbol is. I'm really not good with, foreign exchanges. Go on followunfollowbots.com. You guys can see what I'm talking about. I made other videos. You could use igbots.com if you want to work with American currencies, for example, right? $99 for their total Instagram bot. You could do unfollow, you could do like, you could do follow, I believe, at 125 actions. I personally have bought the extra. I spent the extra money and got the first of all, let's not even talk about what I did because I bought for multiple VAs, virtual assistants, different accounts. However, they have a unlimited follow tool that's, I believe, $70, $80, $90. I don't remember, but it's an unlimited tool. You guys can go on the websites and check. I've definitely made videos over this on the past. Just either go search for the videos or go on the websites. igbots.org, followandfollowbots.com. These are manual bots that you really don't have to spend too much time learning, that you can utilize to start promoting your business as affiliates. Now, when I say promote your business as affiliates, I don't say that you should say, hey, I'm an affiliate. I think you should come out as the actual brand, as the company, but you're going to use that link once again as an affiliate link to be able to track your success. Does that make sense? Right? So you're going to be tracking your actual success with these links. You're going to see how many clicks you're getting per post, maybe not per post, but you're going to see how many clicks you're getting, things like that. And you're going to be seeing your traffic and so it makes it easier. And you want to use that specific link for that specific account and nothing else. You don't want to use it for a blog. You don't want to use it for, referral link. You just for that very specific thing. Okay. Now, with the affiliate guys, what you want to make sure you do is you want to compare that affiliate success to your Instagram bot account success. Does that make sense? You want to compare the following. You want to compare the engagement. You want to compare the actual success level. So when I say the success level, the amount of sales, what does it reap? Okay. And you want to see if it does not, and I'm going to tell you guys this, if it does not result in an immediate conversion, an immediate sale, then that is an influencer or an affiliate or a sponsor or whatever word you want to call it, a promoter you do not want to deal with, okay? They're going to essentially be a hole in your pocket later down the road, and it's going to cause nothing but problems. And I have personally experienced a sense of dear entitlement that these individuals expect, right? Even after creating no sales and no business. So with that being said, we're going to continue part 2 tomorrow on where to find these affiliates, right? Or essentially these promoters. And also we're going to be talking about the second type of partnerships, not the typical partnership that I mentioned here today, but a second type of partnership, okay? So it will result in money. So I will talk about that tomorrow. So if you want to continue for this little influencer series that I'm doing, these 2-part video series, make sure you come tomorrow. We're going to be talking about where to actually find these affiliates. And we're also actually going to be talking about the second type of partnership, which anybody could do. And it's actually really, really beneficial for the beginner. And I think you guys are going to love it. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Bye. Welcome, everybody, to part 2 of the influencer, I guess you could say, series that I'm doing here on YouTube, talking about hiring influencers, affiliates, sponsorships, all these different things, and incorporating it with Instagram bots. Now, if you want to see part 1, just simply go to my YouTube channel. You'll see a video. It's labeled probably part 1, influencer marketing, things like that. Whatever the video is, you guys will find it. Just go and search through my YouTube channel. You'll probably find it. Now, that's part 1, where we talked about, the affiliate, things you want to watch out for, the different kinds of partnership levels, right? The different kinds of influencer levels. So you have sponsorship at the, you have partnership at the top. You have a sponsorship. You have a ambassadorship. You have an affiliate, right? There's different levels. I've talked about, using it with Instagram bots. Today, we're going to talk about where to actually find the proper affiliate, things you want to watch out for, look for, right? And then the thing we're going to talk about is actually the second different type of partnerships. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with partnerships because technically they are affiliates, but I want to talk about that partnership level, which is the very top level of the different influencers, right, and things like that. So I want to talk about that, right? So like I said, if you didn't see yesterday's video, you should definitely go back and watch that video because it's going to give you some, I guess, level of confidence with this video and kind of understanding where I'm going with things, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about it. So with a partnership yesterday, I mentioned that there are two different kinds of partnerships, okay? And I only talked about one of them. The second one I'm going to talk about right now. Well, I used the example of supplements, for example, okay? And you could find partnerships for this. And I said yesterday that there were partnerships that essentially take equity, take ownership, and have business-making decisions. And that's not the only type of partnership out there. There are actually another kind of partnership that I'll talk about now. And I'm going to use supplements as an example. So, in the supplement world, right, your products, if you own a supplement company, you can sell them in gyms, you can sell them in stores, you could sell them in different websites that you don't have ownership over, okay? As an example, tigerfitness.com. Tiger Fitness, owned by Mark Lobliner, right, is a website that has an amalgamation of different supplements, right? Different companies, different supplements, and they sell those products on the partnership's website, right? On the partner's website, which is Tiger Fitness, at a cheaper price or whatever the cost may be. The cost is irrelevant, but the point is that product and that company is gaining more exposure, right? Working with tigerfitness.com. Now that's a second type of partnership. The second type of partnership is the type of partnership where it is a mutually beneficial agreement, right? That allows somebody to access your resources or you access their resources without a very high additional cost to you. Very, very separate from the original type of partnership that has extremely high cost a partnership for you, which is like an equity type partnership, okay? This type of partnership is almost like a I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of agreement. Now, how does this entail? A lot of you guys are selling products, right? It's fair to say. These products you can sell on other people's websites. You can sell on other people's stores, like physical locations. You can sell them in gyms. You can sell them in all different places. And if you're selling a product that is not a digital product, you can absolutely do this. Now, the only hard part about this is it's going to take outreach. You're going to have to reach out your hand to people, and you're going to have to take that leap forward, okay? Now, the way this works is you generally have to have a decent product and you have to have a decently priced product, giving them more room for the distributor, the person that you're going to partner with, to be able to sell the product at a higher price or at regular price, at MAP, okay? Now, explain what MAP is. MAP is this foreign concept to a lot of people, but you have to learn MAP if you want to do this, okay? So, when you take your products and you send them out to your partners, right, you're going to have something. You're going to have either a lawyer or attorney, or maybe even if you have some experience in this, write this up. It is called a MAP, minimum pricing agreement, right? It is a minimum agreement on pricing, right? Basically what MAP does, okay, is this is a article, I guess you could say, written by a power of attorney or somebody else, right? Written, right, to essentially enforce that your products will not be sold at a minimum price, at a certain price, okay? You are the one, as the owner of that business, who sets that threshold. So I'll give you an example. Let's just take this mouse right here, this magic mouse, okay? Let's say I was the owner of Apple, and I wanted to take my mouse and I wanted to send it out to stores like Best Buy, GameStop, you guys list out the staples. I mean, you guys list out the stores. And I want this product on the websites, and I want them in stores, okay? Well, as a manufacturer, as the owner of the company, I have to manufacture the product, right? So it's going to cost me to make the product, right? Let's say it's $5 a piece. And let's say I make 1 million of these products, so 1 million units, right? So it costs me 5 million units to create $5 million to create 1 million units, let's just say, right? And I want to send some here, some there, different stores. What happens is these companies will essentially compete with each other selling the same product, right? I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm a 19-year-old kid who just bought a new laptop from Apple, but I need a mouse, okay? And in my head, I only want the Magic Mouse. Well, I have a few options. I can go to Staples, I can go to Best Buy, I can go to GameStop, or I could search online, which online there's a whole bunch of different competitors also. Might be Staples, might be Best Buy, etc. Okay? Well, MAP agreement basically states that I, as the manufacturer, am forcing you, as the distributor, to not be able to sell it under a certain number, or else certain consequences will be brought upon. So sometimes the consequences are very basic, like we're going to end our partnership, or sometimes the consequences are more severe, like you'll get fined, or if they don't want to pay the fine, they'll go to court. Different things like that. This is essentially a loyalty agreement, right? That you're shaking the person's hand that you're doing business with, saying, listen, I promise I won't go under this price. Now, why does this actually matter? Because a lot of people are going to say, why does this matter? Let me give you an example. I'll give you an example in the supplement world, okay? If you are selling, let's say, a supplement, I don't have an example here. Let's just use this caffeine bottle, okay? Let's say this caffeine bottle cost $5 to produce, okay? And it's sold on Amazon for $19.99. What's going to happen is I'm going to have manufactured from all different places, GNC, Tiger Fitness, all these different companies say, listen, we want to take your product, we want to buy it at a cheaper price, at wholesale price, and we want to sell this product at a cheaper price online or in our stores, okay? That's essentially the whole idea. That's why, these businesses are not going to tell you they want to sell at a cheaper price, right? But that's what they're going to do. That's how they're going to attract customers, because the only thing they're really competing on is price. So what they'll do, since they bought the product from you for $5, is they'll order 10,000 units from you, something ridiculous. And they'll sell the product for something like $6, $7, $8. And what that will do is that will dramatically cut your cost, your price of product, right? Your cost. When I say your cost, is that will, undercut your cost. So you're selling it for $19.99. Now consumers, like the average public, won't go to you to buy the product anymore, even though you're the maker. They're going to go to these companies, whether it be on their website or in their stores, to buy the product for $7-8. Okay? Now, where does that actually cause a problem? Because you could argue that doesn't cause a problem. I'm going to make all the money in the world. That's not exactly true. See, that does cause a major problem, because what's going to happen is consumers are going to start, in their mind, they're going to be ingrained to this idea that your product truly costs $7-8, whatever. Meanwhile, it should cost $19.99. So that if you stop working with that specific manufacturer, consumers will never buy your product again, and they'll go and look for an alternative, right? Because they're used to your product being $7-8. It's $19.99 now. They don't want to work with you. It's over, okay? So what's going to happen from that stance is consumers will now believe that your product, like I said, is cheaper. On top of that, right, they're going to be undercutting you, which decreases your business sales by a dramatic amount. Not everybody is a licensing type of company. Not everybody sells their products to only distributors, right? Some people sell online, sell on their own website. And what's going to happen is your consumers, right, will not buy from you, because what's going to happen is if your product, let's say, is being sold by a manufacturer for $7-8, they now have leeway, right? A little bit of leeway to advertise the product, get it seen by people. And let's be honest, if you're a consumer and you see the product for $19.99, and then you see another seller with the exact same branding, same everything on the advertising platform for $9.99, you're going to go for the guy who's $9.99. At least majority. Maybe not you, but the majority of consumers out there. And what that will do is that will literally undercut you as the owner completely, and you will lose all sorts of business, okay? So that's why you need a MAP pricing agreement, right? And basically what MAP is you're going to tell companies, no matter if you sell it in your store or if you sell this online, it can never be discounted by X amount, and here's the price that you can never sell it cheaper than, right? And if consumers violate this agreement, then like I said, you can either take them to court or just stop the agreement right then and there, or, whatever the case may be, whatever you decide to go with, okay? So that's the second type of partnership, which is also very valuable because it can make you a lot of money. A good example of this for the ladies out there, if you guys are familiar with Curl Bible, okay, I believe, I can't remember who made this product. I think, I honestly can't remember. I know she's a YouTuber. Young lady created this app, I guess you could say, where people can come and sell their, I guess you could say, don't butcher me in the comments. I really don't know too much about the product. All I know is that it's like an app or a website that sells products from all different people who have like their own businesses but struggle with marketing. So she'll essentially do the marketing for you. It's like almost like a mini Amazon, but for people who like cosmetics. I could be wrong, but that's kind of generally the way it works. And in that case, right, it's a partnership agreement where the person who owns this app gets a fee, and then of the sale, and the owner is happy because they get their product sold and they get it reached out to essentially more people. So there's like benefits to that. You can think of eBay as the same thing, right? Essentially, your partnership, you're doing an involuntary partnership with eBay, right? That you're really not controlling. There's no contract written up or anything like that, but it's sort of like a partnership. Now, let's talk about finding the proper partnership or finding the proper affiliate. Where to find these people? Now, the person who asked this comment in YouTube, and I mentioned it yesterday, he mentioned the name Shoutcart. Now, I'll give you an example, is that I don't use any of these platform type names, like Shoutcart or any of these other apps. I honestly do not use them. What I do is I find these, or what I truly do is I hire people to find these individuals. But what you're going to do, you can either hire people or you can do it yourself, is that you can hire people or yourself to find people who would be essentially good ideals for this campaign, this marketing campaign, to be your either affiliate, your sponsor, your ambassador, your whatever, right? And you are going to essentially find a way to contact them. Now, I don't recommend that, like I said, you go and use an app. So Shoutcart and all these different apps, I'm sure they're great, and I'm sure they have phenomenal influencers on there. But I simply do not use them. Here's the reason why I don't use them. Is to me, the way I look at it is anybody is willing to work with you as long as, everybody has their price. Put it that way. Everybody has their price. So for example, let's say I'm starting my supplement company. I'm a no-name brand. Nobody knows about me. And I go to Kai Green and I tell him, hey, $5 to work with me. He's gonna laugh and he's gonna shut his door and he's gonna say, go home, kid. Right? That's basically what he's gonna say. But if I tell him, listen, $50,000 sign-up bonus, $10,000 a month, now it becomes something serious. Okay? So that's something you gotta be aware of. All right? So everybody, in my opinion, has a price. Okay? Now, with this price idea, is that you have to figure out how can you get to work with this person in the beginning with the lowest price possible. Why do you want to do this? Because you simply don't know what are the effects, the long-term effects of working with this individual. I'll give you an example. There's a company called Shreds, and there were these 3 people who used to promote this company called Shreds. Okay? This was a supplement company. And Shreds was literally at the top at one point. They were probably the biggest supplement company probably ever at that point, right? And they grew very, very quickly. But these 3 individuals, I guess 1 or 2 of them got caught photoshopping their physique, their body. And a lot of negativity came out about this individual in the press or about these people. And it caused a major, major decline in trust with these businesses from a consumer to a business standpoint. The business ended up firing these sponsored athletes or affiliates, I guess you could say. But these athletes, I know, the behind the scenes. I know how much they were making. Some of them were making close to 100 grand a month off the products that they were selling, and that was just literally a percentage. So I mean, the company was doing over $2 million a month, honestly, or close to that, over $2 million a month. Now, at one point, at its peak, and what happened is that the company shot down to the ground because nobody trusted the products anymore because of the specific influencer that they hired. So you want to go and do a deep dive search on this individual that you're hiring, whether it be a sponsorship, whether it be an affiliate, whether it be an influencer. You want to do a real search on this individual. This is why I tell people over and over and over again, you have to do something that you're passionate about and that you have some knowledge behind. Because if you are, let's say, joining a business that you literally have no idea anything about it, and I'll give you an example. I had a client who wanted to do a dropshipping business and decided to start selling bikinis. Had no idea anything about bikinis, but he said, hey, I want to do bikinis, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense, but he did it anyway. Ended up failing. But the point here is do a business that you have knowledge behind because you know what to look for, okay? Now, with the business that you have knowledge behind, when you hire these affiliates, it's not all about stats. You have to look behind the scenes of this individual. Are they safe to work with, okay? If the individual, let's say, has a high hater count, like they have a lot of haters or something like that, you probably honestly do not want to work with them, okay? Liking bias is a very real bias, okay? Search cognitive biases, liking bias is one of them. People are more likely to buy a product if they see someone they like promoting it. Does that make sense? Like, you're more likely to take your friend's advice and buy the product that they bought simply because your friend has it, okay, than just buying it randomly at your own peril, okay? It goes for hating biases the same. Like, if you hate somebody and they bought this product, you're less likely to buy the product if you hate them. Does that make sense? So you have to really dive deep into their following. You have to see how they're interacting with their following, how they're engaging, what are the positives, what are the negatives. You want to write them all down. If the positives truly outweigh the negatives, then this individual is good to test out. This is what you have to do with all of your affiliates. You want to test them out. You don't want to have a permanent contract up front. You want to have what's referred to as a at-will contract. Now, some influencers, and I'll tell you, if they're small scale, they get scared from contracts. They tend to run away. They tend to not want to do business with you. But if they're larger accounts, like I'll give you an example. For example, if you go to Paige Hathaway, for example, this is a fitness influencer who has worked with many, many different companies, and she's very, very rich doing that kind of stuff. For her, if you ask her, hey, I want to work with you, she's going to say, drop a contract. That's the first thing she's going to say, because without the contract, there's really nothing there. So when you're looking at more established influencers who actually make money doing this and their living relies on it and they're doing very, very well, they're going to need a contract up front before you even talk, okay? But if you want to, work with a smaller scale that probably, 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers, the reality is if they haven't been promoting a company for a long time, they probably never seen a contract before in their life in the affiliate space, and it's honestly going to turn them off. And I've experienced that from personal experiences, and they get scared of it. Now, what's the purpose of a contract? It's literally just for liability reasons, okay? If the person, like, for example, if you decide, hey, I'm going to sponsor you, I'm going to give you, let's say $500 or an ambassadorship, I'm going to give you $500 a month plus 30% of sales commissions plus, we're going to do 2 photo shoots with you a year and you get to keep the photos. You can repost our photos, things like that. Then, it has to be, the liability in that case might be relatively high, might be relatively low, depending on what your business is capable of. But what a contract is going to do is going to say, hey, if you break these requirements, so let's say in order to get all these payments and things like that, you need to post 5 times a month on Instagram and 2 times a month on YouTube, and it could clearly explain what the product is with this and this and this requirement, and before you post it, you send it to us for approval, things like that, right? If you have certain requirements, then in that case, you might want to do a contract or something, like a write-up an agreement. Now, I'll say this. If you work with people overseas, it honestly really doesn't matter because, let's face it, it's going to cost you more money to litigate than it will to, you know what I'm saying, actually work with them, or you know what I'm saying? It's going to cost you too much money to essentially deal with them overseas. So you can work with people overseas, but just realize that the contract is going to be irrelevant. It's not going to matter. You're not going to be able to do anything anyway. So just the whole idea here is when you're looking for an influencer, really do your due diligence and look for things like that. Now, something you also want to look for, and this is very basic, but in their comments, look at, you know, who's commenting and look at multiple photos. Don't just look at one photo. Look at the gradual decline or incline of their following. Look at, you know, different stats and make sure they measure up. For example, if their following is going up, and up, right? Let's say they go from 5,000 to 10,000 to 30,000 followers, okay? And their comments don't go slowly up, and up. There's a problem there. And when I say there's a problem, I don't necessarily mean that they're buying fake followers. What I mean is maybe they're engaging less with people. Maybe people are not caring about them as much. Maybe they're just looking at them to follow them. You know, you really have to assess what's going on behind the scenes with certain consumers. So I'll give you an example and I'll kind of explain things, all right? So with my YouTube channel, for example, if you look at my older videos, let's say like 2 years ago, whatever, during the cloud bot type of series, I would get a whole ton of comments on videos. At that point, manual bots really weren't introduced, and cloud-based bots were kind of like the thing, and they still are the thing, but, you know, a lot of people worked with cloud-based bots more, and a lot of people were really getting into it. They really didn't have any experience, and I don't want to say exposed cloud-based botting, but I kind of showed it to the world. I think at a larger scale because I was making videos every single day, and I was really communicating with people every single day on how to use certain tools and things like that, and the comments were through the roof, right? But now if you look at the comments, they're really not that much there because the bots that people use now are easier to use. There's really no difficulty behind it. There's less explanation that's needed, so less people are going to comment and less people are going to have questions. Does that make sense? So you really just want to assess and really dive deep into what's going on behind the scenes, right? So that's just something to be aware of. Now, comments doesn't, you know, I want to preface this by saying comments or likes, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, okay? When I say, like, all right, so for example, if your influencer, let's say you've been working with this influencer for a year, and their comments went from, let's just say their engagement, which includes comments and likes on Instagram. Let's say their engagement went from, let's say 400 engagement per post to down to 300 or 200 or 100. It really doesn't matter. It's really not that serious. What you really want to see is the type of content they're posting. The engagement is irrelevant. Even here on YouTube, if somebody likes or dislikes a video, contrary to popular belief, it has really no effect on the algorithm. It's not like that post is going to be seen by more people. It's actually not true. What actually shows if a post is being seen by more people, whether here on Instagram or on YouTube, is the view count. So when people are actually literally viewing the photo, when they're looking at the photo, they're really taking the time to look at it, right? And Instagram has a timer on this, right? Like a 3-second view, a 10-second view. Instagram actually times these kind of things, right? With YouTube, it's the same thing. It's like when people watch a video, how long they watch it. That's really the thing that matters. Likes don't matter, comments don't matter, things like that. Now, but you should really still look at the comments and the likes and the engagement as a barometer. Like I said, if there's something that feels fishy or you don't feel good about, take that, listen to your gut, put it that way, right? At the end of the day, when you're working with influencers, it's an agreement, right? That's a peer-to-peer agreement, and your gut is going to play a huge factor in this, okay? Also, look, is there any value behind this individual's brand? I'll give you an example. Before I started selling the clothing, right, long time ago, we wanted to sell lifting gear, like knee sleeves, wrist strap, things like that. And we sent out a pair of knee sleeves. I think I told this story. We sent out a pair of knee sleeves to an individual. It was a she. She had a great following at the time. I think she had like 40,000 followers. And we had the agreement, and this is a red flag right away. 40,000 followers. She had great engagement, right? We had the agreement that I would send it to her for free. By the way, this was my first affiliate deal ever. So it's not like I knew anything. Back then, 40,000 followers were like, oh my God, it was crazy. Now she has over 1 million. But 40,000 followers, right? And sent the product to her. And I figured, most of her photos gets like 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 likes. We should be able to do good here, right? Just so happened that we sent her the photo. She had a terrible, it wasn't really, when I say terrible caption, it really didn't, shout us out. There was just the tag in the caption of our username, and that was it. There was a video of her using the knee sleeves, but she really wasn't talking about it or anything like that. We ended up getting 0 sales from that promo. Now, if it was done properly, maybe we would have got some sales, but she got a ton of engagement, but we got 0 sales. And now I learned kind of how to really do influencer marketing properly, which is something that you want to take into consideration is you really shouldn't go for the sale the first time. If this is going to be the first time you work with somebody, you should judge it based on how many followers you get, okay? Because followers really is the key, and you want to see long-term engagement followers. So there are different softwares that you could use. I'm not going to shout out any here because I don't want to be like a whole software thing, but based on the followers, you can tell how much of those specific followers are engaging with you, right? And that's really important. So just be aware of that. Also, your sales are going to be essentially taken into consideration via the softwares you use. So if you're using like a website design software is different than a funnel software, things like that. So just be aware of that also. When you're picking out an affiliate, just make sure, like I said, use your gut. Look at their numbers. Numbers don't mean everything, and truly base their success on previous results. If they have no previous results, you're going to have to take the gamble and work with them. Also, don't use any, or I'm going to put it, let me hold that statement back. I don't use any apps. You could use apps if you want to. I find people who I want to work with, and I simply shoot them a message, whether it be through Instagram or through email. If I see that they're a larger account, I will simply send them a message, and then the contract will be right after it. And I'll say, listen, if you're not happy with this contract, we're happy to negotiate or talk. Here's my phone number, things like that. So, and it's not always me that's doing this. If I hire somebody, they'll do the same thing. So hopefully this video helped you out. This is the conclusion to the influencer, I guess you could say, series where we talk about influencer marketing, Instagram bots, things like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.